5 minutes to the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Moran.
The gentleman from Virginia is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wish to thank the gentleman from New York, the chairman of the committee, and the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. McCall. Thank you very much for bringing this resolution to the floor. The purpose is to help prevent attacks against federal employees while they are engaged in or on account of the performance of their official duties. Last month, we commemorated the 15th anniversary of the bombing of the Alfred Murrah Federal Building in downtown Oklahoma City. This act of violence claimed 168 lives and injured more than 680 people. It was the most destructive act of terrorism on United States soil until the September 11, 2001 attacks. The Oklahoma City bomber, Timothy McVeigh, made federal employees his target because he was angry at the United States government. In the 15 years since that horrific bombing, federal employees have been the target of a great number of attacks. Now, Internal Revenue Service employees have borne the brunt, as those who are frustrated with tax problems have taken their frustrations out on IRS workers just doing their jobs, in fact, carrying out the laws that the Congress makes. The IRS has recorded some 1,200 attacks on its employees since 2001. Attacking a federal employee engaged in or because of his or her work is a federal crime. Justice Department investigates some 300 cases per year. Now, we're a free society. Strong rhetoric is accepted, even fashionable. But rhetoric should not inspire violence. Federal agencies devote significant resources and develop procedures to protect their employees. The two recent attacks on federal employees highlight what I see as a worrying trend. In February, a plane was flown into the IRS building in Austin in an act of murder-suicide that claimed the life of a veteran of 2 tours in Vietnam. In March, another deranged individual walked up to the Pentagon entrance and opened fire with a semi-automatic weapon, injuring 2 Pentagon guards. These acts were more than sensational attempts at mass murder. They were acts of domestic terrorism with federal employees as their target. We have the finest, most professional civil service in the world, and we take for granted that our federal workers provide many forms of dedicated and important service to our nation. Civilian employees serve in war zones, providing essential support to our military. Federal workers maintain our national parks, our wildlife refuges and forests, secure our borders, and respond in times of natural disaster, as we can see in the Gulf oil spill. Our diplomats advance our country's interests around the world, very often in dangerous environments. The more than 2 million civilian employees in the federal workforce deserve a reasonable degree of personal safety and security while they're carrying out their duties, implementing the laws that we make. It is incumbent upon the Congress and the administration to ensure their safety. We have a responsibility, and that's why I've introduced this bill, a responsibility to protect our nation's federal employees. House Resolution 1187 calls for a renewed commitment to our civil servants, and thus I urge my colleagues to unanimously support it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Michigan is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself as much time as I